Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trenton's Tech. And today we are going to be talking about the Pixel Fold 72 hours later. How do I feel about this, folding phone and all that fun stuff and everything? Um, Not much has really changed as far as my opinion from my previous first impressions video, but I will talk about what has changed. The only things that really have changed is I took it outside, started using it outside more, and it's okay outside. It's not great outside, but it doesn't suck outside either. There were a lot of people who had mixed reviews about the inner display and how well it's going to perform in the direct sunlight. And I really didn't take my phone outside to test it in direct sunlight. I just took my phone outside just to use it outside. And for the most part, it's fine. The only issues that I have really isn't even with the actual brightness of the screen. Would I like it to be brighter? Absolutely. Give me all of the nits. I will definitely take that 1750 nits that's supposed to come on the Z Fold 5. That's not the issue. The issue for me is just the screen and reflections. So I'm somebody that uses dark mode a lot on my phones, and using dark mode on this phone outside with a plastic screen protector is a recipe for disaster when it comes to reflections. You will see a lot of reflections because since part of the screen is black, it's like a direct mirror. I don't know how to explain it, but if you basically use dark mode on this and you go outside with it, you'll see it. I'm constantly like looking at my own reflection in the background or like parts of the screen. The crease is like kind of sticking out more than I normally look at it or whatnot, and it's all due to the reflections or whatnot. So probably the easiest way to fix this, and I think Gadget Goddess did this because I think I was watching a video on her channel and I realized that she doesn't have a glossy screen protector. You may just need to put a matte finish screen protector on here. Now, you may want to do that, you may not want to do that, but I at least wanted to offer a solution to the problem or a solution to the critique, but it's just something that just stuck out to me. The next part that I'll talk about that I commented on it a little bit, but this is the part that changed. The bezels. At first, you can get past the bezels. You can look at them and say, whatever, they're there, fine. You start getting a couple smudges on them, they start sticking out a little bit more. Then you clean it off, but then you go outside. Then you realize the bezels are just as reflective as the screen is, and it just starts to become distracting. May not be distracting to you, but it is distracting to me. Also, there was another point that another creator brought up, Dwayne, aka Wayne Train, and I started thinking about this because the bezels aren't exactly what you call metal. At least I don't believe. I think it's just flexible plastic. And one of the things that could happen is it could start getting scratched up or like little micro scratches over time. You may ask, why would it happen? How could it happen? Look, scratches happen, okay? Especially on materials that are scratchable. Even on the back here, like this metal right here, this metal will randomly scratch and you won't even know how it's got scratched or even why. So if that metal, that polished metal is going to get scratches, well, glossy plastic is probably going to get scratches. So that was just something I noticed. Like I said, small critique, not exactly a deal breaker, just stuff that's kind of sticking out as I'm going about it. Battery life. The battery life on this phone has been okay to decent, but I really don't know how to measure battery life because everybody has a different definition. Everybody has a different screen on time. So I'm not going to talk about screen on time. All I'm going to say is that if I charge this phone up, one, it takes almost about 2 hours to charge this phone up. Two, if you use it throughout the day, and when I say use it throughout the day, I don't mean you're living on your phone throughout the day. Because some of y'all don't ever put down your phones. I've seen y'all on Twitter, okay? Some of you guys got your phone attached to your hip and you pull it out like every 5 minutes and you just never leave it alone, right? So it's constantly doing something. So if you're going to be constantly using the Pixel Fold and you're going to constantly be having the screen open, yes, the battery life is going to suck. Otherwise, if you kind of, I guess, like drive at 60 miles an hour, I don't even know how to even use that term with phones, but if you use it throughout the day and you don't go crazy with it and you don't max out the brightness, then you can get through a full day. Me personally, I can't get through a full day because I max out the brightness. I use the inner display a whole lot. So the only way I would be able to get through the day is if I balance the usage between this phone and my iPhone and I kind of alternate. Otherwise, I want to open up this display. I want to use it more and dig heavier into it. But it just feels like even with the 4,800 milliamp hour battery, it's okay from 100 to 50. But once you get below 50, it starts to nosedive a little bit. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, it's going to take up for an entire week for the phone to learn your usage patterns and all that stuff. I get that. But at the same time, I don't want to wait a week to find out what the actual battery life of the phone is going to be. And this is a 72 hours later review. So I just have to tell you guys what my experience is. So I'm about 50-50 on the battery. Am I going to run out there and say, oh my God, how dare Google make this phone like this? No, I'm not. But at the same time, I can't look at it compared to other phones and be like, yo, this is just really awesome. My S23 Ultra is awesome. My 14 Pro Max is awesome. Those two phones leave this phone in the dust, but at the same time, it does have an inner display. I'm trying to think of the other things that I wanted to cover with this phone. Nits, brightness, and all that stuff, as far as, outdoor, the screens and all that stuff. The cover screen's fine. I don't have too much of an issue with it in direct sunlight or walking around or anything at all. There were a couple of times simply because I just jumped back and forth between this phone and the iPhone goes up to like 2000 nits brightness. You will kind of see that difference. And so I would notice that, but it wasn't like a deal breaker. It wasn't like I couldn't use the phone. I'm like, all right, I can't turn the brightness up any further than that. So that's something that hopefully in the next generation of the phone, they can increase the nits, but also figure out a way to balance out the entire, the brightness or whatnot. Tensor G2, in my opinion, completely in my opinion, the Tensor G2 is fine. What it is not good at is what everybody is wanting it to be good at, and it's not exactly designed that way. So the Tensor G2, the reason even why we have Tensor, honestly, is because Google has certain things that they wanted to do with their chip on device. And so this is where I will somewhat give the Tensor a pass. You guys can say it down in the comment section. I'm giving it a pass because the Tensor isn't designed for gaming. It really isn't. Like, in my opinion, it's not a Snapdragon. It's not an A17. It's not designed for gaming. What it's designed for is for you to be able to take out your phone, hit record on the recorder app, and it be able to listen to multiple people's voices in the room, record it, and do a transcription of everybody's voice and separate it and do it live. Do it live. The iPhone doesn't do that. Okay. Good luck telling your iPhone, I'm not going to say the S word. Good luck telling your iPhone to record everybody's voice and to separate all the voices and have text on the screen. You will not see that. Now, Samsung started to do that a little bit with their transcription, but Google nails it. So to me, the Tensor is for all of their communication stuff, all of their translation stuff, all of their AI stuff. They put all of that first before playing Genshin Impact or doing anything else crazy with games. Like, this is not a gaming phone. Should it game better? Sure. But that's not what it's designed for. At the same time, this is where, like I said, I had some critiques before about it not having a DeX mode and this and that. And I kind of have to realize that that's not Google's wheelhouse right now. That's not what they're going for. Even though I can critique it and say I wish it was in there for $1,800, that's not what Google is like focused on. So I kind of got to accept that it is what it is, just not at the price. So yeah, the whole Tensor thing, the only thing that I can really look at where people have an issue with Tensor is, I guess it has to do with the chip heating up, because this will get warm. It won't get hot, but I do have a case on it, so I do feel the warmth. But it's okay. It's just not amazing. And I think I understand where a lot of people come from, that $1,800, it should be amazing. It's $1,800, So leaving that there, 50-50 on the Tensor as well. Everything else, cameras are cool. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but basically you're using the cameras. It falls somewhere between like a Pixel 7a and a Pixel 7. So I wish the cameras were better. Hell, I wish the cameras were better on the Z Fold 5, but that's currently where we're at. I'm still trying to figure out which foldable has like really, really, really amazing cameras. It's really good at stills. Videos kind of night mode is like 50-50. So there's a lot of first generation vibe in this, like first attempt, which you can kind of give some things a pass. However, it's like Google came out with this phone at $1,800 5 years later than Samsung and years later than other developers. They've had time to look at everybody else and say, all right, we're going to put this out and this is going to compete against everybody else. The wild card right now is OnePlus, because the Z Fold 5, it's already out. People have already started reviewing it, talking about it. We've all complained about the iterative updates and the refinement and all of that. And yeah, that's going to be a whole nother video. But OnePlus is the X factor, because OnePlus is going to be coming with the specs like they always come with the specs. It's just whether or not the camera performance is going to be there and what the price is going to be. The rumored price is going to be like $1,400-$1,500. If that's the case, then Google's probably in trouble on that end. The other part that I have to include in this, because I didn't include this in the last video, was the rollout for the Pixel Fold was not the greatest as far as like consumer customer friendliness or whatnot. It was announced on May 10th. It didn't drop or become available for a lot of people until the 25th. A lot of people had their packages delayed, and there was different hoops they had to jump through. The fact that you had to pay 100% full price up front and then send in your phone and then get a rebate and this, that, or whatever. A lot of people had to leave $2,000 almost out of their pockets just to even get the phone, compared to Samsung, where since it's competition, you basically get the money off up front. And then if there's like a dispute or anything later, y'all can, figure it out. But it was just one thing I had to put out there. And that was just one of the things that was kind of like a drawback. It was like, it took so much time to figure all this out and jump through all the hoops and this, that, or whatever. I just so happened to luck up and see a porcelain available that I could get like within 2 days. Otherwise, everybody else is just sitting there jumping through hoops trying to get one. People are still selling them on Swappa for like full price, double price, and all that stuff. So rolling back around, because I can sit here and rattle off at the top of my lungs for the rest of this entire video. It's all right. It's not amazing. It's all right. What I will thank the Pixel for, and one of the things I'm glad I did, is I'm glad I tried it out. I'm glad I put it in my hands and I used it and I figured out, okay, Do I like foldables? Yes. Was I wrong about foldables? Yes. Am I more interested and want to try more foldables now? Yes. So I can call this like the gateway fold. Like this is what's getting me into folds, and I'm actually really happy about it too. So um otherwise it's a nice, cute little phone or whatnot. I kind of wish the display was a little taller and a little thinner. Some of you out there are gonna be like, well, just go buy a Z Fold. Well, hey, guess what? I got one on the way. Hey, but just my critiques and what I think about it. So yeah, long video, but I kind of do long videos, so whatever. Um, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, y'all, take it easy. Peace.